Hello everyone, I'm Alana Miller and today I'm going to be talking to you about my lighting design project. So let's go ahead and get started. So a little bit about me. My goal is to use my personal interest in the environment to really blend together my creativity to create functionally different products for all types of uses. Whether it's products for the house or products for the outdoors, I really want to make sure all the products that I create are environmentally friendly. And using these different experiments, researches, doing these different processes are really going to help my personal and professional growth really develop. So let's get into the outline. So what I'll be talking with you today about is going to be my problem statement, the material research and analysis, the brainstorm and analysis, my sketch models, the next steps, and the conclusion. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So my problem statement is, if a lighting fixture could be created out of biodegradable materials, it could reduce the amount of debris that goes into landfills. And I sit there and I thought to myself, well, how can I use seaweed and turn that into a functioning light? So let's get into the material research a little bit more. So I decided to use the material of seaweed because it is very sustainable and is antibacterial. It actually grows very fast compared to most plants. You can grow up to several yards within one day. So it's really great. So different things that I did was that I did some processes about crushing, grinding, mincing, and doing all these different things with seaweed to really see how I can transform it and see different ways that it works, whether it's using it with sugar as a hardener, epoxy, starch, liquid starch. I really wanted to get into it and see how I can really use seaweed. So when I was done with the materials research, the first analysis that I came up with is that using the material like sugar is really great because it's a fantastic hardener, but it's also edible, which is great, seeing that seaweed is also edible. And the part that makes it really great is that when it actually completely dries, it has a really gorgeous crystalline effect and it has a nice little sparkling touch to it. And when it's thin enough, it can be quite translucent if the layer isn't very cloudy. The second analysis that I came up with is that using epoxy resin is really great because it is a hardener and it's crystal clear, but it kind of contradicts the natural properties of seaweed that I'm trying to stick with. It's a little odd to have a natural product that's very biodegradable being mixed with a heavy chemically created product. And so with that, I got into the brainstorming a little bit. So I kind of had a rapid brainstorming session that I had with some other students. And within that, I came to a couple of different analysis. So the first thing was that moving forward, it'd be best to do a lighting project because of the pure form of the sugar and seaweed. The properties of that would be very useful with having light going through it instead of being used for furniture. So by the end of the brainstorming, I saw quite a few different ideas and I realized that it's best to not do furniture and move forward with using lighting because of the properties. So let's get into the sketch models. So I went on a little bit of a loop here trying to get different ideas going. So the first thing I wanted to do was really have a nice lighting effect. So I'm going to go ahead and turn these on for you. These are all remote, so it's really great. So as you see, they're beautiful lamps. They're all made from sugar. And I really thought that it was very artistic and whatnot, but it'd be a lot better if it was functionally. I can actually use it with something else. So I decided to go forth with doing a coaster idea. So as you see here, there's already a cup in it, so it demonstrates the use. It'd be really great. So I decided what would be really good about it is that not only is it useful and it can protect your furniture, but it's also creates really nice ambiance within the room. And having different colors because of the temperature of the sugar and along with how much seaweed that I put in and what kind of seed, whether it's minced or boiled, it has different effects. As you see, this one is very white. You see a couple speckles, whereas this one is a very dark green because I use finer grinds of the seaweed. And so with that, I can create more of these different coasters. That way, each guest that will be able to use a coaster will have their own individual coaster, and it would be really great. And I also wanted to move forward doing another idea of something that's very useful, and not only is it beautiful to keep in the house, but it's also works with remote as well. So if you see over here, it's really great because it's simple and is also put into a bamboo base. That way bamboo is also very antibacterial, but it's great because you can actually remove the light itself and charge it. That way you never have to worry about your batteries dying and things like that. So it's really great and useful to have in case of emergency. You can just take it out and walk away with it and not have to have it plugged up to the wall. So let's go ahead and get into, there we go. So the next steps is going to make sure that I have all my different models and projects ready for the Spark deadline. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is create different videos that really shows the different steps and processes that I did to create with these. I also would like to, I need to be able to work with Antonio with different workshops to really develop these further, along with coming up with other ways to really seal off, to really ensure that the sugar stays intact together. And then after that, I have to make sure I have everything ready to go for a student deadline for the spring show. And with all that being done, let's get into my conclusion. So I just really wanted to go over what we were talked about today. So the problem statement, which is really how do we take seaweed and use that to create a functioning light. The second thing is going over the material research analysis and then brainstorm analysis, which we really came through having a coaster made from sugar because of the properties and is also useful. And then we went into the sketch model that you see there and our next steps. So thank you for your time today. I really enjoyed talking with you. I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Please let me know if you have any questions.